Yo, Laurent,
Uh-huh.
where's your jersey at, bro?
My jersey is where it's always been.
At the Nike store?
No, no. It's my Drogba jersey? Oh man.
I
Come
was gonna
on,
say
man.
Chris Wood, but okay.
Come on, man. But I thought we've settled this Chris Wood Drogba debate long ago. One's a legend whose name will forever be buried in the hearts of many. The other is I don't even know what the other is.
I know everyone loves Chris Wood and that header. Yo, CJ, we kind of waited way too long to get him the Garnacho jersey because now Garnacho is in Villa.
Oh, is he now? Is that the that's the latest?
Yeah, that's the
Yep.
latest. He's following the Jadon Sancho tour.
Yep.
Mhm.
So,
Shit. People, welcome back. Welcome back to the Gunners Corner where we're live and direct. And this is just going to begin to be the beginning of a long episode, another long season, some banter. The World Cup is officially over, so the banter is back. Murdad is not holding back. Laurent's not holding back. Shit, I might not even be holding back this season because you are looking and listening to the home of the Premier League champions.
yeah. Put some respect on that, Laurent. Put some respect on that shit.
Yes, sir. And this obviously episode, we're going to be talking more transfer news. There's been a lot that happened this week, or if you're Arsenal, not much at all. Um, but listen, man, we'll get into it. We'll get into the transfer news. We have a lot to say. I'm sure we're gonna have differing opinions on here on what's going on in the transfer market, especially when it comes to Arsenal, and elsewhere. But yeah, fellas, what are we saying? Laurent, you happy this week or what's going on? Talk to me. You guys seem pretty active.
Yeah, I know, man. Again, it's Chelsea being Chelsea. You already know. Just
Spending stupid money for no reason.
Yeah, I was gonna say Chelsea being Chelsea, just spending money like they have it.
Listen, I was going to say in reference to this current regime, it's more so being strategic with the player acquisition, having the managers say, right, in who we're trying to get. But besides that, yes, it is definitely Chelsea being Chelsea in terms of where we spend our cash, right? And by all means, man, if you're a rich gentleman and you're trying to go to the gentleman's club, right? There is nothing other than to get yourself some gentleman cash and throw that up in the air, man.
Okay,
So
hold on. I need to press you on this regime. This is the same regime that bought Mykhailo Mudryk, and Mykhailo Mudryk is currently I don't even know where the hell he is. This is the same regime that's giving 8, 9 year contracts and has what I think the last head count that I had was like 40 players or 34 players or something ridiculous registered. 24 registered in the Premier League and 34 squad players. Like spending money in the right areas? Are we certain?
100%. As to remember, I'm referencing this transfer season, right? And I think we have established this in the past many times that the decisions made were not the wisest. But it seems that they've come, they've turned around. They've accepted helping hand in a manager and getting the manager's approval when it comes to the players. So, yes, these signings that are coming in, they're purely tactical, purely
So you
tactical.
genuinely believe that overpaying again for a player is tactical?
Who are you referencing here?
Morgan Rogers.
Rogers?
You genuinely believe Morgan Rogers should be the highest transfer fee for a British player all time?
I would say this, that in regards to Rogers' quality, I think it has been established that he is definitely a quality player um, in the Premier League, right? So this is not a player that we're getting abroad. from a different league, so proven. Um, Other than that, in terms of the fact that, well, one, we do need a player in that position, right? Uh, Bar none, that is something that we do need.
But Chelsea's notorious for overpaying for everything.
But again, right, you have to also factor in the fact that in that specific position, it is an urgent requirement for us to get someone of a
So you'd
certain
rather
level.
be bullied so that any other transfer window that you go into, because this isn't a 1 year thing, this is year over year over year, you're going to essentially say, okay, if I need something, I'm just gonna pay how much ever you want, and I'm gonna screw the valuation that I put on a player, and I'm gonna overpay to just get the player over the line, which you would agree with me that Chelsea is more than one or two players from actually competing for real trophies.
So, in regards to the your statement, I do think that in Chelsea's case, it is imperative that even if you do have to pay a bit over premium, that you do fill in those shoes. And sometimes that's what it is, right? Right, timings of markets, you may find yourselves in a position where you do have to overpay, and also if it negates a certain player going towards the opposition, right? Mind you, the alternative to that is you pay lower, okay, like what you guys did, and you get yourself a winger who, you know, has performed elsewhere, and that now you are betting on performing in your current league, which is not a sure thing, right?
Agree, but we went from Morgan Rogers being valued at 80 million when Arsenal was in the picture. In a span of a week, he went up, what, like almost 40 million as soon as Chelsea got involved?
Yeah, and
And Villa did call Arsenal and they said, hey, will you match? Because Rogers wanted to come to Arsenal and Arsenal said no. Because our valuation was 80 plus add-ons.
again, I do think that one, right, especially, listen, if you have the coffers, right, your pockets are deep enough to be able to absorb some of that financial burden. At that point, you do have to pay the price. You do have to pay the price,
No,
a hundred
no,
percent,
no,
because
you don't. Because then you run into a situation where it's like Manchester United always overpaying. They paid what, like 75 mil for Casemiro who was in his 30s?
Mhm.
No, no. Arsenal have deeper pockets, and Arsenal could have paid the 117, and they could have still had a lot more because of how much money we made last year. But when you set your valuation, you make a statement to everybody that you're going to negotiate with is that we'll go to a certain limit, but we're not going to just be bullied and pay X amount of money, right? That's why we're seeing the Bruno Guimaraes take a little bit longer because all of a sudden they want 120, 130 million because Spurs decided to pay 100 for Tonali and 85 for Mateus Fernandez, who's in League One, right? So you're like, I get it, getting the player over the line, but that would be the case of, for example, if Arsenal, I don't know, Arsenal and Bayern, for example, going for Barcola, and it's a coin toss. Barcola would go either way, but PSG want the sweetest deal. Sure, at that point, we know that that one singular player is the hole that we have. Whereas for Chelsea, your back line is still a hole. Your keeper is still a hole. Your top 10 players on the pitch, golden. As soon as you go into the bench, you guys are screwed. And judging by Chelsea's track record with cards, suspensions, with injuries, you guys can't sustain that. And that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, sure, get Morgan Rogers. Sure, if you think that his skill is worth to be the highest paid, highest transfer fee for a British player, like I respectfully disagree. I don't think he's worth more than Jude Bellingham. I don't think that he's worth more than Declan Rice. I don't think in his prime, I don't think he's worth more than a Harry Kane, right? 117 is a lot and it's guaranteed. That's the thing. It's not like it's an installment. It's And there's no add-ons. It's 117 clear as day. So the one
Well, I
player
mean,
that I will say that you guys had a good piece of business is Lacroix from Crystal Palace. I think that was a good deal. Because I think he'll shore up the center of your back three. Because I feel like Javi's going to play a back three. And I would have loved to have Lacroix because I think it would have given us flexibility with Mascara. Um, but I think kind of shifting gears a little bit to Arsenal, I think what Andrea Berto is thinking is, if we keep Mascara, we keep Timber, and we keep Ben White, we should be fine for cover until Saliba comes back, because apparently he's not having the surgery. Um, but the fitness of Timber and White worry me. So we're definitely going to need to have a cover there because I do not want to see, under any circumstances, under and I'll say it again, under any circumstances, I do not want to see Declan Rice playing right back, like at all. So Lacroix would have been a good replacement. I think he was the understudy in the France national team with Saliba. But so we're gonna have to figure something else out. But um, yeah, I'm not worried about Morgan Rogers. Like I 117 is steep.
again, I think time will tell. And I do believe that that player will pay dividends. Um, right. And in regards to you mentioned other positions, I mean when I look at the list of defenders that we have, I think we are pretty much covered in regards to especially with this new signing here. In terms of the back line, it seems like I think we're good to go for the upcoming season. Yeah, so I think at this point it's probably a keeper issue and probably some more midfield or forward options. Um, but if you look at the Chelsea back line as it stands, I'm pretty sure we are good to go.
Interesting.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Colwell, you have Colwell, Hato, Reece James, Gusto, um, Lacroix, Palestra, right? And then that being said, right, the likes of Dizazis, the Tosins, the Badia Shield, those are guys that we will never hear from again. Um,
Never say never. Never say never.
oh no, bro, trust me, bro. Like there will be no reason for why those guys show up on a pitch in a Chelsea kit. Especially right, given the names that I mentioned. And on top of that, right? I mean, listen, we have a Josh Achampong there that I didn't even mention, a Fofana, right? In case you want to use him, and depending if those guys want to stay, right? And even the Chalaba, right?
Yeah, but who's
Uh,
playing left back now that you lost Cucurella?
left back,
Or left wing back? Yes, left wing back.
yeah, you can put a Hatu there. Remember, I did mention that to me, Hato seems to have better potential than Cucurella in terms of one, his ball progression. So now it's just a matter, I think, of maturity, right, of in the defending side. But going forward, he brings a lot more better options.
Yeah, but
Uh,
that's always been the issue with Chelsea, right? The maturity. And if you guys are bringing in someone like a Lacroix, someone like a Morgan Rogers, and you guys are trying to bring some experience, Cucurella would have definitely shored up that back line to a different level. Hato may have more potential, of course, because he's younger. But Cucurella has proven he just won the Euros and he's a World Cup winner.
that's fair. No one's saying that, right? Cucurella uh, isn't quality, but at this point, right, listen, there's no point uh, going over it because he is gone. He's not coming back,
Okay, fair.
as far as we're concerned. And as it stands, that player there, right, is the likely replacement for him in that position. And even when I do say, in terms of potential, yes, obviously he is younger, right? So there is a potential aspect. But in terms of even the quality on the ball going forward, from what we've seen thus far, he's a lot prettier on the eye as
Sure,
a forward option
sure.
than to the likes of Kukurea.
CJ, you've been awfully quiet. How are you feeling?
No, I'm just listening. And based on the conversation you guys are having, I actually have some things to say. I agree with actually I agree. And then I'm looking at well, sorry, when I say I agree with two things. And I think two things can be true at the same time. So what I mean by agree is that I agree that Chelsea overpaid for Morgan Rogers, but I also agree that if I'm Chelsea, and I'm going to throw Tottenham in there as well, like unfortunately they have to do these things, right, to get back to competing. Um, People know that the clubs like Chelsea, right, who finished 10th, which is, unheard of and unacceptable for a club of their supposed size and stature, right? And for Spurs as well, who finished a lot lower than that, two relegation battles in a row. They're desperate to get back to the top, right? So
Hmm.
they're gonna be taxed at a premium from these clubs, right? Spurs had to pay 100 mil for Tonali. They had to pay 85 mil for Fernandez, who just got relegated. Chelsea, for example, had to overpay for Morgan Rogers because let's be honest, right? And I said this last podcast too. The teams that will compete with Arsenal when it comes to the transfer market, your Chelseas, your Uniteds, the teams that are going to compete with the players that we're linked with, what they have to bring to the table is money. They'll be able to throw money at it. They on the pitch, they can't compete with us right now, based on where the clubs are at in the current state on the football pitch. But off the pitch, what they can do to entice these players is the money, right? And that's what they're going to have to do to compete. And so when Newcastle knows that Spurs are desperate for quality and upgrades, they're going to say, "Yeah, you want this player, 100 mil." And likewise with Villa and Chelsea and Chelsea and Spurs, for example, will happily throw that kind of money because again, they need to get back to competing. Certainly for Chelsea, right? Need to get back to competing at the top level. So I wouldn't want to spend that kind of money, but I can understand why Chelsea do it. They do it notoriously anyways, but they have to do it particularly this summer. They have to show ambition, and if it means they have to pay that premium, if they have the deep pockets, as Laurent alluded to do so, then it seems like that's what they have to do. Morgan Rogers is a good player, so whatever way you want to look at it, Morgan Rogers, will he improve Chelsea? Yes, factually yes, because he's a quality player, and they need now quality players because what they had last season, Garnacho's delapse, unacceptable, right? So the first thing you need to do is
Pretty
address
much.
with quality players. Can Chelsea afford to do what Arsenal do and say, you know what, you're charging me, over 100 mil. I'm going to walk away from that deal. I'm not sure they can afford to do that because, again, like they can't afford to be picky. They're not in that privileged position, so to speak, right now, right? If they walk away from Rodgers, who else are they going to get? Like, who are they looking to sign that's going to be a top player that's going to go for a reasonable price? That's the problem. So they have to throw that kind of money at it, whether we agree with it or not. That I think that's what they have to do to try and get back to a certain level. We can afford to say, we'll hold off, we'll look for a more shrewd business in the market. We can afford to do that because, we're the champions. We are currently at the top. Our squad is already good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we can afford to do that. However, for me, I'm now starting to get to the point where, what, July 24th, I am now starting to get to the point of concern from an Arsenal point of view. So whilst I don't want to overpay for Rodgers, and I said this to you guys last podcast too. If we also are looking to go up a level, and again we're eating at a different table at the moment than respectfully the Spurs, the Chelseas. We're eating at a table now where we're trying to elevate and maybe repeat a Premier League, maybe finally win a Champions League. You know what I mean? That's the time. That's the kind of elevation we're trying to do. So if we are going to do that, guess what? We too are also going to have to pay probably a premium for one of the big targets that we're linked with, right? The names that we're linked with, we're shopping in that different market. We want the likes of Bruno Guimaraes, one of the best midfielders in the Prem, Julian Alvarez, World Cup winner, starter for the former World Cup, the world champions in Argentina, plays for a treble winner at Man City, plays for a big side in Europe, Atletico Madrid, right? Um, Obviously Morgan Rogers, but that's dead and gone. The names that you even hear us being linked with, the Vinny Juniors of the world, that's not an actual factual link, but it's a fan link thing, right? The fans are talking about wanting Vinny Jr. 2, 3 years ago. We couldn't even talk about Vinny Jr. in the same breath as Arsenal. But the fact that these are the kind of players that, we're factually or you know, non-factually being linked with and being talked about, like those players are going to cost money, right? We're not going to get those players on the cheap. So my only concern with Arsenal now is if you're not going to go out and spend that kind of money on a Morgan Rogers, be prepared that the players that you want and the targets that you're linked with, you're going to have to spend we're probably going to have to break our current transfer window, our current transfer record, which is 105 million for Declan Rice. We're probably going to have to break that for this window, to be honest with you, whether we agree with it or not, because the market dictates how much a player costs. We may not think that any of these players that we're linked with right now, we may not think that they're worth more than Rice, for example. But the market is telling us that, hey, it's going to cost this to get X, Y, and Z player, at some point we're gonna have to bite the bullet and pay for that kind of player if we really want to be serious about going up to the other tier that we're trying to go up to. There's only so much we can deny and say, Bruno Guimaraes, you're worth this, according to Newcastle, but we want to pay this. Like, listen, we already lost out to Rodgers because we chose to walk away from it. Fine, fair enough. I'm okay with that. Bruno Guimaraes, I have a different opinion. I'm not willing to walk away from that. The player wants to come to Arsenal. He is a guaranteed upgrade to what we currently have. He is the kind of level raiser that we're talking about, where if we want to go and win again, repeats and win leagues and win Champions Leagues, that's the kind of player that you can come in and that's not a project signing. That's a guaranteed now signing, right? That's the you're gonna win now situation. So if we do this again, in my opinion, where we say with Bruno Guimaraes, okay, Newcastle's holding up for 80, 85 mil, and Arsenal's only willing to pay like I don't know 70, 75 mil allegedly, right? I'm just making these things up.
Yeah.
Like that for me is again, this is now going to be the second big target that you walk away from because you're trying to be shrewd and you're trying to penny pinch a little bit and you're like, so, okay, so now we're running out of targets. Now we're running out of players that we can go that's going to improve Arsenal for next season. You see what I'm saying? So I don't want us to keep trying to be too cute because you're just going to keep missing out on targets. We need to be very, very careful. If we are trying to, Arteta said it at the back end of last season after the Champions League final. He said we need to be smart. We need to make ruthless decisions. We need to be ambitious. These are the kind of words I like to hear, but I need that followed up with action. And I'm not even blaming Arteta. I know Arteta's very disappointed that we didn't get Rodgers because Rodgers was one of his top targets. And so I'm not even putting the finger at him per se. I'm looking at the recruitment team a little bit sideways and saying, like I said, we could have got that deal done for cheaper before the Elliot Anderson deal. We could have looked at Rodgers when he was in a market where he would have cost maybe 80 to 100 mil. But post Elliot Anderson deal, guess what? The market's now skyrocketed. And Villa rightfully said to Chelsea, Elliot Anderson was at 116. Rodgers is a better, more proven player. 117, please. You know what I mean? So the longer we wait, look, guess what? Rodri, if you guys heard rumors today, Rodri needs back surgery,
Hmm.
right? He's going to be out, but Real Madrid still want him. So if Real Madrid go and throw the bag at City and take Rodri, and we keep dilly-dallying over Bruno Guimaraes, guess what's going to happen? City's going to go, quality midfielder on the market. We just lost Rodri. Bruno Guimaraes, come here. We're going to pay the price. Like we Arsenal need to be very, very careful. That's all I'm saying. A week ago, we spoke about this, and you weren't worried. I know you said Murda, you weren't worried at the time. A week ago, earlier this week, before we put out the last podcast, go check it out, people. We spoke and said about the same thing. A week later, we're sitting here again, still the same thing, right? And now we're pushing the boat out, and we're getting closer and closer to the start of the season. We're getting deeper into preseason, and we're sitting here and talking about the same thing. And I'm still not looking at any signings. Sorry, that's a lie. We sold this in the door.
Yeah.
We're not looking at any quality upgrade signings, is what I'm going to say. And this is where I'm starting to get annoyed. On Monday, we heard that Arsenal were linked with, monitored, interested in, talking to, going to put out a bid. On Friday, I'm still hearing the same nonsense. Linked with, monitoring, interested in, going to put out a bid. Just don't tell me that we're going to put out the bid. Put out the damn bid. You know what I mean? Like that's where I'm at. Put out the damn bid. And don't tell me that we're planning, we're preparing, we're monitoring. I need to see like some action. You know what I mean? I need to know that we're actually now because again, I say, and I bring this back to the Chelsea thing. One thing, these clubs, Chelsea, City, maybe sometimes they overpay, but guess what? If they're linked with a player on Monday, maybe by Friday that player is signed. Like they don't really waste time. These other clubs around us, they don't really waste time when it comes to they're linked on Monday, signed by Friday, probably 2, 3 days later,
Hmm.
boom, the player is signed. We can be linked. We heard about Bruno Guimaraes at the beginning of the World Cup. The World Cup is not long gone. It's been a month. So we linked to somebody a month ago, and the player still there's no progress. And this is where I'm getting annoyed and concerned. You cannot fumble the Bruno Guimaraes one if it means you have to pay a little bit more because that's what Newcastle is demanding. We might just have to do it. I don't think you should go to the 100 mil length, but apparently that's not what they're asking for. They're not asking for over 100 mil, right? You guys got to find somewhere to meet in the middle. But listen, negotiations can't go on for over a month. It's just ridiculous. If you're going to put in the bid, show that you're serious and put in the actual bid. You're going to just annoy everybody in this situation. You're going to annoy Newcastle. You're going to annoy Bruno. Bruno's going to look there and say, Arsenal, you're not serious because we were linked a month ago. I told Newcastle 3 weeks ago when I got knocked out of the World Cup that I want to come to Arsenal, and he's going to try and be respectful about it and let the two clubs sort it. But we still haven't put in an official bid, or maybe we have. It was a verbal offer, all this nonsense. No, man, just put in the damn bid and put in one that's going to that's not a laughable offer, right? We know Newcastle's holding out for a certain amount. Don't lowball, right? Because you're just going to piss off everybody even more. So that's my long spiel on what's going on with us at the moment, and I just need us to be a little bit more serious when it comes to our big prime targets. Because guess what? We're not the only ones in for these big players, and the longer we wait, somebody else who actually is going to throw the bag at it is going to snatch these players from our grasp, and then we have our hands behind our back come the start of the season. So that's where I'm at with our transfer window.
Hmm. I'm still not worried. I'm being honest. Still not worried. I think with some of the deals that Andrea Berto has gotten across with his track record at Atletico Madrid and his track record last year with us, I'm not worried. I hear you though. I hear you. It's frustrating. Definitely Arteta's probably frustrated that he didn't get Morgan Rogers, but I'm not overly concerned at the slow play that we're doing because, like, look at it last year. Liverpool won the league. They instantly went out, got Ekitike. They splashed the money on Verts. They splashed the money on Isak, which took a while to get done. They got Frimpong, and we all looked at. I mean, you two were like looking at it, saying like, "Oh, they're gonna win the league. They're gonna run through the league because they got Isak." Yes, I understand Isak was injured, but I always stood on it saying like, no, there's too many signings. There's too many new players that need to come into this. And I think this is a similar situation. We need to be very selective with what we need and the player profile. Yes, two things can be true. Yes, do I think that Morgan Rogers would have fit our style? Yeah, I think so. Think so. But I think we'd also run into the same issue that Eze's running into, where the system takes out his fluidity. You know what I mean? Like we're a system team. We're not like a Villa or a Chelsea that yes, there is a system, but there's a lot of freedom provided. We don't play that style, and I think that's where Rogers would probably struggle. And also having that ego and if let's just say we paid 117 coming in, being like, oh, I'm the most expensive British player, blah blah blah. It gets to their head. They're like they're early 20s, right? Um, but I agree with you with the Bruno Guimaraes and Man City because I think when we initially were interested in Guimaraes, not this year, I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago, City was interested as well. Um, so I wouldn't be shocked in a world if Rodri gets sold, if City go in and just buy Guimaraes. Um, the news that's coming out is that Josh Kroenke's taken that personal. He's taken on that transfer, and he's apparently speaking directly with the Newcastle staff to figure out how they can get that across. And I think they will get it across. I think Guimaraes will be our first big signing. Obviously, we already signed Nkapie because he was a loan last year. We paid the fee. We signed Dylan Melier from Leeds on a free, and then Christos Solis. I think Guimaraes will be the next signing, and then after that, it's going to be do we prioritize someone like a John Stones on a free because Saliba's going to come back, right? Do we really want to splash the cash for a center back? Or do we just take John Stones on a free because he's worked with Arteta before, put him in that back line, gives us flexibility with Mascara, and gives us more cover for the right back position? Because if the right backs get injured, then Stones can step in as the right center back, and then put our efforts into. For me, I would say Barcola. I would want Barcola. I think Solis can play across the front three. Um, because I'm trying to think, like we did this last year too when we were looking at what left wingers are out there. Like I don't want to Rafa Leao. We saw him at the World Cup. He was not. I didn't go like, wow, like this is the guy that I want, right? We've seen enough of Barcola that I'm like, okay, he's still raw, but you can see the end product there. He just needs minutes. He needs regular minutes. Um, for me, I want a Barcola through the door. Like as much as I would say, yeah, sure, let's go for Vinny, like he's a complete product. I just don't think that's realistic. Like I don't think Josie's gonna let him go because with the team that he's building, like I think he's gonna want to keep Vinny. Um, I
So
think
let me
Mbappe.
ask you,
Oh, sorry.
yeah, go on, go on, go on.
No, I was gonna say I think Mbappe is more realistic. because I think there's so much animosity with what happened at the end of the last end of the season last year with Mbappe that I think Mbappe is more realistic. I still think that Rodrigo is more realistic, right? But for me, I would want Barcola through the door, and I would value him at like 90, but he'd probably go for like 120.
And so was gonna be my question. Would you pay 120 for
Yeah,
Barcola?
yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy, bro. I swear last episode you were like you weren't even entertaining that.
No, I never said that. No, no.
Bro, I swear.
No, no, no. For Rogers, yeah, for Rogers, I would have probably said I would have never entertained that. But for Barcola, yeah, 100%.
Hmm.
And what? Okay, maybe you already answered the question. I was gonna say, why do you think Barcola's worth that, for example, and Rogers isn't?
Because it's the British tax. There's no way that Rogers is worth 117 with the type of British players that we've seen sold in this recent era. Like, there's no way that you can sit here and tell me that Morgan Rogers is more valuable than Jude Bellingham. Put Declan Rice aside, put Harry Kane aside, Jude Bellingham. There's no way you can sit here and tell me that he's more valuable than Jude.
No, I agree. I agree. He's not worth it. He's not worth it. But again, this is what the market is doing to us. Elliot Anderson is not worth it. You see what I'm saying? Like that City, like certain people and certain clubs, whatever, messed up the market for everybody else because that's what they just decided to go out and overpay for. So unfortunately, right, none of these guys are worth, but the market keeps going up year after year after year, right? Like that's what happens. When Ronaldo went to Real Madrid from United, whenever that was, donkey years ago now, I think that was for 80 mil, right?
Mhm.
You're telling me that these guys, Rogers, all these guys are worth more
Well, in
than Ronaldo at that time? So
yeah, but in today's
that's the thing.
market,
So it's inflation. It's an
yeah.
inflated market. So and I think we know that, right? It's an inflated market. So none of these guys are worth what the actual what we think that they're what we're saying they're worth. But the market is going to dictate how much these guys are worth, and that's the problem, right? None of these guys, Barcolas, Rogers, they're not worth anywhere near what Declan Rice is worth, in my opinion. But they're going to cost more. Why? Because it's an inflated market,
So
and
then let me
that's what
explain why else I would want Barcola or
so
Morgan
yeah,
Rogers.
that's what I was gonna say. So
So
so we
money
both agree,
aside,
yeah, because we
yeah,
both
money
agree that
aside.
he's not worth
No,
Rogers isn't worth
no, no.
120. So
Barcola
why is
Barcola
Barcola
isn't either.
worth that? Yeah.
Barcola is probably not worth it either. But if we're just taking the money side out of it, the reason why I would pay the 120 for Barcola versus a Rogers is because Barcola has proven to be an out and out left winger. Like that's what we need. We keep talking about we need
hmm
an out and out left winger. We need someone that's gonna be in the left and be direct from the left side. Yes, we all make fun of Noni Madueke. He's an out and out right winger. No one can say otherwise. He is an out and out right winger. Nicola Pepe, everyone talks shit about him, but he is a right winger. When you look for a right winger, that is a right winger. Bukayo Saka, yes, he can play across the line because he's a little bit more tactical. He's a little bit more, you can play a 1-2, you can come in the middle. But Barcola has proven on PSG and the games that we've seen, and even with France, he is a left winger. Morgan Rogers has not proven that he's an out and out left winger, right? And that's the hole that we have. We have center mids, we have right wings, we have left eight, right eight. That's not what we're missing. We're missing a true out and out left winger. And for me, that's the hole that Barcola would fill. And I would pay the 120 for him because I think from what I've seen and the potential that he has, what I look at him is I think Morgan Rogers has like this is what you're gonna get from Rogers. This is it. I don't think there's a I don't see another level that he can go to. I can see him repeating what he's done,
Oh wow,
but I don't
really?
see him going to another level. Whereas for Barcola, I think we're just scratching the surface. And I don't think he's hit that peak yet.
Hmm.
Like Christoph Saul is like, sure, he's he's had one goal or assist in his involvements in the Belgian league. Sure, yes, it's the Belgian league, but like he's direct. Like some of the highlights that you watch, he is very direct. He's an out and out left winger, and he's got pace. We all love Trossard. He was a finisher. He probably one of our best clinical finishers that we had. But the one thing that would always get us when we played the top six teams or better teams is he had no pace. He went around that pace because he was more tactical with his feet. He could do a 1-2. He could catch you, um, sleeping. We all remember what happened when he did to Pedro Porro, right? Put him on skates and broke his knee. That's what Trossard did. But we need like speed. That if we're gonna go on the counter and we're gonna take on that pressure, we need an outlet and we need speed. Barcola is that. Solis is that. Madueke, as much as he's got no end product, he gives us that speed, right? That's the way I look at it. I would value Barcola maybe 90 mil, if I'm being honest, and I'd value Rogers 80, 75, 80. I'm looking at it like objectively. But yeah, you're right. There's inflation. If Ronaldo was in today's market, he'd be well over 200.
And
Well
same
over.
thing as if Declan Rice was on the market now. You see what I'm saying? Declan Rice now
Yeah,
would be 150, 160. Like who knows where he would be
yeah,
compared to, you know what I mean? So it's just the
yeah.
market that we're working with, and unfortunately it's inflated because none of these guys are worth what they're going for. But unfortunately, if Arsenal, I think we're gonna have to pay for whatever target we want, we're gonna have to play, I think, and we're gonna have to break our record just because the market is dictating,
Yeah.
it's forcing our hand, I think.
But I
Um,
but I like the fact that we're not going to be bullied because Villa's going to call us and try to get into a pissing contest to be like, "Hey, Chelsea's offering 117, will you match?" Because you know what Villa wants to do. They want to get into a pissing contest so that 117 turns into 130 because they know the valuation of that player. And you have to remember, Villa was very close to financial fair play, right? We're forgetting that for the past 2 years they've been teetering on that line. Like these are all the layers of this that like we also need to remember with today's market. There's the FFP side of things too. So the more money they get, the more freedom they get, and the more leeway they get to be able to purchase more players, right? The other thing that Chelsea did with them is that if you um, if you sell a player to the club that you just bought a player from within 45 days, the numbers you don't have to expose the numbers for FFP purposes. Apparently, there's a loophole in the way that the financial fair play is for the Premier League. So the Garnacho going back, and who else went back to Villa? It was Garnacho and who? I need to find this now. It's gonna bug me.
went
So
back. I don't know if Garnacho was ever at Villa.
yeah, Garnacho went to Villa, and
But you're saying went back was as if he was there before. He
like
wasn't
no
there
no
before.
like a like Rogers came in and Garnacho went.
Oh, like a player trading thing.
Yeah. Um.
Well,
Yeah.
Rashford.
Sorry.
Actually, never mind.
There was
Laurent,
someone else.
while
But
he's
anyway. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say, Laurent, I'm curious to know what you think. Like while Merida was talking there about Barcola, like what are your thoughts on him as a player?
Mm. He's um he's interesting. He's I find him to be unorthodox. That's one.
Okay.
Finishing to me does need work. But it's one of those where I can't tell if it's something that he can actually work on and get better, or you know what I mean? It's just it comes down to just like the nerves of a player. Where in those moments, in those times, some players just don't have the cool or the nerves to be able to, slot the ball where it needs to be put in. But other than that, I mean, I'd say from what I've seen at PSG, um, in France, he seems to deliver. Um, but again, I do think because he comes off the bench, in some instances,
Mhm.
and I don't know if it's a Trossard effect. I don't know if you guys understand what I mean by that, but some players that are like that, right? Like if they come off the bench, yeah, they're able to produce, but the moment you start starting them regularly, the performance tanks.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but he's
So
also started games for PSG as well. He started games for France, so like maybe he needs to get his legs under him to do it consistently. But I think he'd be able to manage it. And on top of that, like you just signed Solis, right? Like you have someone that could, play a run of games if you needed to.
Again, I do say that I mean on one end, we forget that it's he's coming from Uber Eats, not you know what I mean? It's not exactly the top tier, some would say.
Yeah, but that same Uber Eats team dismantled Chelsea, what, 10-2?
Yeah, no one's denying that PSG is a good side. But mind you, right, if you come here, you're playing against sides to the likes of Wolves, right? Week in, week out, that would give you trouble. Whereas if you're playing on PSG, you don't have those same worries because your league is not balanced enough, right? So
Sure.
there are questions that he's gonna have to answer if he does make the journey here, right? And as to whether or not he will provide those answers, I think it's we're yet to see. But overall, I think he's a quality player. And when you talk about that potential, to me, I think it just comes down to his psychology on the ball, making those right decisions. Because there's times too where, maybe he might over dribble, not pass when he needs to pass, and then when he shoots, the shooting option, right, or the technique also isn't the best. Uh, so yeah, man.
I think it's just game time. He's not in those positions enough,
Mm,
right? Like it's Doué, it's Dembele, right? When he
mm,
plays for France, it's Mbappe. Just don't think he's put in those positions enough.
mm. I'm also curious though, in terms because he's small in stature. I will say that
Hmm.
he's yeah, he's quite skinny. Um, and I'd just be curious to see if even the defenders of the Premier League, right, if they'll give him a proper introduction and if he'll be able to hang with that, right? Because usually what you notice also is when some players come here, they tend to beef up, right, in terms of the physique.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's
Yeah, but
I
if you're
think
fast enough and they can't catch up to you and you can play 1-2, you won't get touched.
I mean it sounds I
No,
it's
it's
not
no, it's easier. It sounds simpler saying it than actually putting it into practice. I agree with you, but also he is a professional player and he has played against Premier League sides. Um, I think those things are just things that he's gonna have to work through.
no man again, right? I agree, but again, I think there's a difference playing in the Premier League week in, week out, right? As opposed to just playing those sides on a Champions League game here and there.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, man, would I love to see him in the Premier League? I think yeah, he'd make a fantastic watch. Um, but yeah, I do think a lot of those questions he'll have to definitely look to answer. Um,
Here's the other problem. Here's the other problem. I'm not sure where I'm at, to be honest, with Mbappe. Mbappe. I'm not sure where I'm at with Barcola either. Like,
Hmm.
I'm not sure. He honestly would be a wild card for me.
Interesting.
And what I mean by that is like, again, I'm gonna go back to Arteta's words, and I'm gonna go back to all of our thoughts after the Champions League final. When we looked at that PSG team, we looked at a team and said, yeah, that's where we want to be in attack. Because as I said last season, I argued with Laurent about this until I was blue in the face and defending Arsenal and Arteta and saying we cannot bring a knife to a gunfight. We don't have the attack that they have, therefore we can't try and go blow for blow with them. I won't accept that next season where we've had a whole transfer window. Arteta's come out and said it himself. We've been trying to improve our left wing for 3 years, 3 years, maybe longer. It's been Martinelli and Trossard for the last however many years. We know what we're going to get from them. We've stagnated on that left side, and somehow we've still come out and won the league. I don't know a team in attack who has won a league and you don't have a top quality world class forward, right? Like we've kind of been where we're at with our forward line for a very long
Six
time
years,
now. It's been
six, seven
it's
years
been a
now.
very long time where you can look at Arsenal and say, I am afraid of this person in attack. I think that's at some point that's got to change. And bro, surely this is the summer where that has to change. And so when I look at what I want and expect going into next season, and when I looked at what we faced on the other side of the pitch in the Champions League final, I said, yeah, we need one of those. We need one of those kind of players. Funny enough, Barcola wasn't even in that starting lineup. He was coming off the bench. But my point is, I want one of those. I want a world class, established, know what I'm gonna get level forward. And to be fair,
Yes.
Barcola, he's a wild card. He's an unknown in the sense that he's not the most clinical. He's not the finished product yet. We don't know if he's going to come into the Prem and bang 20 because he's not. He's proven it to a level. Like he plays for France, for
Yeah.
God's sake. Like he obviously is good. You know what I mean? But he again, is he like what are we looking for in Arsenal right now? We're looking for a match winner, a game changer. Do you guys look at Barcola now and think, okay, when the game is 0-0, is he the kind of player that's going to take the game by the scruff of the neck and score that
No,
clinical, incisive goal under pressure that's going to win you the game 1-0?
no.
So he's not that right now, and I agree with that. And
Yeah, but
and
I don't
my
think Rogers is that.
well, that's it. So this is what I'm saying. So here's my problem. My problem is when I look at the
Sorry, I will
market.
say this
Hmm,
in reply to. I think Rogers has more of the psychological qualities to make him a killer compared to Barcola in terms of just
Mm,
in
and
those.
I agree with that though. Like honestly, I agree. When you said Murda that Rogers, you think is peak, that is, I don't think so. I think Rogers has levels to go up still. To be honest with you, I think both players do. I think both players do have levels to go up still. But where I agreed with you and why I pushed back on you as to why, when I asked you why you think Barcola is worth 120 but Rogers isn't, I was curious to know what you were going to say because I think they both have high level potential. And your answer I think was spot on and why what I agree with fully is that we need an out and out left winger as opposed to another attacking midfielder who can play on the left wing. We already have one of those in Eze. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? We don't need to buy an attacking midfielder that you can just shove on the wing. Like Eze is literally the same kind of profile as a Rogers, right?
yeah.
Get me so that I think that response actually was pretty bang on. Like in terms of I will basically what you're saying is I will pay that money for an out and out left winger because we don't have that. We have a bunch of maybe we have a couple cams who can play on the wing.
Hmm.
Trossard was like that. Trossard was an out and out winger. He doesn't have pace. He's not very direct that way, but he was a technical player that you can put on the wing.
Hmm.
Eze is the same. Eze is the same. So we need more of those kind of wingers, and that's what I want to pay for. Whether it's Barcola or somebody else, that's where I agree with you. Give me an out and out left winger. Don't give me somebody that you can shoehorn on the left, who's an attacking midfielder, who's cute and technical. No, give me an out and out left winger with pace, with directness, etc. So the profile of Barcola is nice. Question number two is he the guy to take you to the next level? Because is he that match winner? Is he the game changer? Is he the click, or does he play well in a part of another good team? You see what I'm saying? Give me a level raiser.
mm,
Give me a level raiser who's going to win me a game, and I know I can turn to you when the chips are down and the boys are shaking it. I can give you the ball, and I know that you can beat two, three guys and maybe and put that ball in the bottom corner. He probably can beat two, three guys, but he'll put the ball out wide or he'll put, you know what I mean? Because he's not the clinical part of his game isn't there yet. He's got everything else, I think, as a winger, but he's not clinical yet.
So
So,
who's that guy that you would say right now in the market
and that's
that's
where I was
realistic?
that's where I was going next is that's the problem. That this guy's is my ultimate problem with the market is like there's not enough of those guys, and maybe because the level of left of top forward wingers right now at the moment isn't what it once was, bro. Remember the days like you had Hazard, Alexis Sanchez, these kind of guys, Neymar, all competing in the same era, right? That level of left wing market, Robin, Ribéry, sorry, like you know what I mean? Like there was one time where the level of left wingers was top quality, but how many wingers is certainly on the left side. Do you guys look at today's game and say, yeah, man, like that's the guy? I look at only honestly a Vinny and maybe a Kvara and say, yeah, yeah, those two, like spot in any team and raise your
Yeah.
level. I'm trying to think of others, honestly, like genuinely. I can't
But
really
if
think of too
Mbappe
many.
plays left and doesn't play number nine, like I would
Yeah, yeah,
include
he
him.
yeah he can go out there. So it's like when I look around, like unfortunately, I'm thinking, damn, I am gonna have to pay 120 for Barcola because what else is really out there that is established on my wing? You see the way I'm talking about Bruno G and saying he's established, and you throw the bag at it and pay whatever because he's guaranteed to raise your level. I don't see that kind of player on the left wing that's available. Now, here's the one player that could be available that I think you discredited, but I wouldn't be so quick to discount is the Vinny one. I don't think that Vinny is unattainable because and you said you think Mbappe is more likely to leave. I don't think so. The president's already come out and said that Mbappe, they're not letting him go. He's staying for sure. Vinny hasn't signed his contract yet, right? So they're trying to sort out a contract thing with Vinny right now. He hasn't signed his contract yet. He's got 1 year left if he doesn't sign. So that's stalling, right? If there is any chance at some point in this window that he could become available, I think we have to put our hat in the ring. Whether we get him or not is a whole other story, but I think you got to throw your hat in the ring as Premier League champions, as somebody who's trying to walk the talk and go to the next level. You got to put your hat in the ring for that kind of player. And so I think that right now we don't know concrete, as of today that he is available. But if anyhow he does, I think that's one of the more. My point is, if you're going to go and throw 120 at Barcola, you might as well stump up another 20, 30 mil and put that money 150 in for Vinny. I would do it. That's how good the guy is, and that's the level raiser that we're talking about if we're trying to win a Champions League. For me, that's the bottom line. Try your luck. Try a thing, bro.
Apparently, Yan Diamande is either going to Madrid or PSG.
And I saw that. That's another one. Like, guys, is he like established enough to you guys? Like, is he a proven
No,
winger where it's like, I'm gonna throw the bag at him too because you know what I mean? He's had a good World Cup. Before the World Cup, none of the three of us guaranteed talked about him too tough. Now, post World Cup hype, whatever, good player. Sure, probably is a good player. Again, is he gonna be worth the kind of money that probably is gonna be thrown at him now? Like,
100
this
mil,
is
100. It's
bro,
90
like,
plus add-ons. But the reason why I bring him up is like, okay, if he's gonna go to, let's just say he goes to PSG, we can get Barcola for cheaper than 120 because Barcola's gonna want to be out. He's like, okay, I'm here. Like, why are you guys getting another player? If he goes to Madrid, same thing. We can swoop in and be like, Vinny, you come here, you're the starter. And you got your Brazilian teammates. We'll bring in Guimarães. You got big Gabby. We'll keep little Gabby, right? We still, like we still have a Brazilian connection with some of the ex players that we've had at Arsenal, right? So
I know
Yo,
you like
Vinny.
Diamande, Laurent. Yeah, go on. What were you gonna say about Vinny?
Now I was gonna say Vinny is gonna hate playing at Arsenal. Straight up. That guy,
I think
that
the
guy
next
does not belong on
conversation would
that
be
team, in
yeah,
my
but I
opinion.
think the next conversation, if for example we get
No,
a
no,
Vinny
no
Jr.
disrespect. Like it's just your manager. That's what
No,
I'm
no, no,
saying.
but that's exactly where I was going to go with this. Like, I think if we do, for example, sign a Vinny, Arteta
Has to
has to change the style because there's no way you're going to ask a player like Vinny,
play left back essentially
yeah,
and just
there's
defend for
no
him, bro.
way, you know, like that's the thing though, and I think Arteta is at that point because I think he wants to win the Champions League that badly and he wants to repeat in the Prem. But if Vinny does come, yeah, there's no, he's not tracking back. It's not happening. And apparently, sorry, I was just looking at Fabrizio Romano. Trevor Chalobah is apparently going to Como.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I heard
saw
about
that.
that.
Yeah. So there is moves happening. Um, it's
Do you back Laurent, back to the thing about Diamande. I actually remember now that we were talking about him, I remember a couple pods ago that you said when I asked you the profile of winger that you would like, I think you mentioned him. So you really like him as well, obviously.
Yeah, he's
Again,
good, man. He's
another good tricky winger that'll give a defender a hard time, but
100%,
lacks a bit of clinical edge for me.
100%. But I think with him in this case, to me, he's almost like what you think Mudryk would. You know what I mean? Like,
mm,
in terms of the pace, and personally, I find that his finishing, quote unquote, right, in comparison to Mudryk, that's something you can work with. You see what I'm saying? Um, yeah. So the Diamande as well. I think he's a raw talent that needs polishing, and
mm.
usually that takes a good manager, right? A good environment, and usually if the player adapts, right, under the right circumstances, right, one season, you know, maybe 10, 15 GAs, right? Nothing too fancy kind of thing. Then the season after that, that's when you kind of start to see that he starts to rev it up a bit more, right? So yeah, that first year you kind of give him a pass to a certain degree, but then after that, right, that's usually where you kind of see truly what that player looks like, right? When they incorporate the finishing and all that. So yeah, no, he's a very good player in my opinion. Um, I mean, for one, I don't even think there's some games during the World Cup. I feel like, or some bouts where he didn't have the best games. But you saw that the potential was there. I mean, like the first thing for me was versus Ecuador in Capié,
Yeah,
Oh
that
yeah,
first
yeah.
game, right? That
yeah,
just pretty much saw, okay, yeah, this is what he can offer you, right? So
That's what it is in our market nowadays, guys. Like we're playing for we're paying, sorry, for potential and just hoping it works out as opposed to, back in the day, 80 mil gets you Ronaldo, established player, you know what you're going to get with that money. Nowadays, players can have a good one season, a good few months, heck, and then boom, all of a sudden, 100 mil slap target on your back, and that's what you're paying for. You're paying for potential as opposed to established players now, and that's where we're at.
would you pay 80 or 90 mil for Rodrigo?
I mean, yeah, when he was fit, yeah. Now with this injury, I think that changes things.
Okay, so let's just say all the players that we're talking about are not realistic, but you can get a Rodrigo. Would you take him?
So Rodrigo now,
Right now.
ACL injury,
Yeah,
Rodrigo.
yeah, yeah.
Well, no, not right now because I think he's still injured till December, or at least he's out for the rest of this year. That's already half a season gone. So I'm paying that money for a guy who's out for half the season, and then ACL being one of the worst injuries in football. What kind of player am I getting once he returns, right? So no, not right now. Last season at this time, remember that was one of our big targets. Hell yeah,
Yeah.
give me that, yeah, for sure. But now, no.
So let's do a little experiment. You got 120 mil. I'm gonna name you three players, and you're gonna have to decide who out of the three players you want and why. Okay? 120 mil max. Julian Alvarez, Vinicius, and Barcola.
Is this relative to our clubs? So like I'd be speaking for
Yes.
Arsenal, Laurent speaking for
Well, no,
Chelsea.
for Laurent, I got three other names.
Also, okay, okay, so this
This
one's
is
for
just
me.
Arsenal related. Yeah.
Okay, 120 and 120 will get me any one of them.
Any one of them.
Yeah, man, obvious answer, I think there. I think you guys know what I'm gonna say, but I think that's Vinny all day long.
Vinicius.
Yeah, all day long. Has to be. Simple fact that one, he's better than Barcola. So if you give me those two left wingers available, 120 gets me one of them, then yes, Vinny is the proven one. That's what I've been talking about for the last 10 minutes there. That proven established on that left wing, right? And
No
then
Alvarez?
also him over Alvarez because again, you alluded to this earlier as well. We need a left winger, right? Can we get away next season with Havertz and Yokar as our strikers next season? I think we could. But the clear upgrade in our team is left wing, and so that's for that fact alone. And the out and out left winger, give me Vinny on that left wing.
Vinny, yeah, you do know that 120 mil comes with tantrums, red cards, and all that other good stuff.
Let's do it. Give me 120 mil. Give me a red card. I'll take it for
Mm,
20 goals this season
mm.
plus.
Um, for you, Laurent, I personally think that the biggest gap that you guys have is in your keeper. So I'm gonna put 60 mil, and it gets you one of these keepers to upgrade your back line essentially. Okay. Robin Royce from Sunderland. Okay. Um, this is hard. I'm trying to like think of players that
First of all, value 60 mil. Bro, they'll pay 100 mil for a
I
keeper
know.
or for anyone. 60 mil, bro.
Um,
That's a low valuation for Chelsea Football Club. Their budget is much
um,
higher than that.
60 mil, that's pocket change. Um, oh my God, what's that guy's name? Oh, I just had it in my head. Where did he go?
This is all goalkeepers you're doing right
This is
now?
all goalkeeper because I think that's what they need. Unai Simon and the last one, Mike Manuel.
Wait, Unai Simon, is that the Spanish guy?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Like the starter for Spain?
Yes. So Simon, Maignan, or um, what was the last one I just said?
Sunderland keeper.
Roman Royce. Yeah.
That's tough. Between the two, um, Maignan and Unai. What's the age for
I'm
Mike
pretty,
and
I think. Hold on. I think Simon is like in his 30s, if I'm not mistaken.
these two?
Simon is 29.
You know what?
And
I'm gonna go with Unai Simon. One because I feel like the Spanish playing style in terms of the passing. So yeah, the keeper has to be comfortable, in my opinion. Um, and on top of that, the fact that that guy started over Raya
yeah,
is
but I think he has nudes on fucking De La Fuente. Like, there's no way that he's better than Raya in distribution. But let me press you on that for a second though. We saw what Robin Royce did at Sunderland with his distribution, and halfway through the season, I do recall us having that conversation that he would be great for Chelsea. He's 23 years old, be working under Jabi Alonso. But so your rationale, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm just trying to think if I was in your position. Get an Unai Simon. He's 29 years old, more experienced,
yeah, I think
Euros winner. Okay.
experience speaks a lot in the back as well.
Okay.
Um, and there's something about putting your defenders at ease as well when you know that the last line of the defense, right, is quite capable. So yeah, no, for me, I think I would choose him. Um, given the things you mentioned there, and just the fact that also when watching the World Cup, right, he seemed very comfortable with the ball at his feet as well. So yeah,
Okay. And if I'm being honest, CJ, like I know I said out and out left winger. Like obviously Vinny's the best out and out left winger, but for the 120, I would likely, and you probably won't agree with me, but I would likely go with Julian Alvarez. I think he fits our system more, and I don't think we would have to reinvent the wheel completely. But if we're talking about just pure talent of what we need, it'd be Vinny all day. But if I'm trying to think of like, okay, what would fit into our system, what would give us more flexibility, how could we, you know, play off of an Alvarez and let him take over? I would take Alvarez.
I'm surprised you say that after just spending all that time talking about how we
I know,
need an
no,
out
I
and
know.
out left winger.
Yeah, no, like it's Alvarez changes the game. Like if it's between Alvarez and Barcola, like I would take Alvarez. With Vinny, my only concern is I think he would be that upgrade that we need, but I would be scared is Arteta willing to change the system? And some of the fears that I had with him that you guys both are like, oh, there's no way. Like it's already happening, right? Like he ran players into the ground. And Vinny's not one of those players that is gonna want to do that.
So
Right?
I
When we're
think a
playing.
player like Vinny will force Arteta to get away from that system because the
Correct.
system, however, whatever we're doing right now, is clearly killing some of these players. It's not a coincidence where all these players are getting these muscular injuries. We can't afford to, keep having Saka's and Martinelli's and our wingers doing shuttle runs up and down the touchline because they have to play right back and left back, and then they also have to get up the pitch when we get on the ball. Like I don't want my wingers doing that anymore. I don't want Vinny doing that anymore. Trust your defenders. We have good enough defense and back line as it is. Do you know what I mean? Balance. We have in front of that back four, you have Declan Rice, who's one of the best defensive number sixes in the world. We play with such a good defensive structure. I don't think we need to make our wingers defend as much as they do, and we're trying to get away from that going forward, aren't we? We're trying to play a more fluid attacking system. So do we really want our wingers to still continue to do those type of shuttle runs back and forth on the wing and burn themselves out defensively? No, we don't want that. So I think I would like that kind of player like a Vinny to force Arteta to change. He has to adapt a bit,
Yeah.
you
I
know.
think between those two players, I don't think you'd go wrong if you got one of those
No,
two
no, you
players.
wouldn't. No, for sure.
Um,
Here's the question I have for you though. I don't know if you agreed with what I just said, is like we can go into next season with our striker set, Havertz and Gyökeres, and be okay to compete still. Whereas if you get Alvarez, we still have a problem on that left wing. Would you agree with that? Because between Martinelli and Solis, some would say we've downgraded on our left wing. Honestly, I don't care what anybody says. Right now, if Martinelli and Solis are your two left wingers, you've downgraded on Trossard. Trossard right now is better than Solis. I think that's no brainer. So technically we've downgraded on our left wing. If things stay as is, and I'm gonna be patient, I won't crash out right now. But if you tell me Zullis is my starting left winger going into next season, or Martinelli, then we have problems, personally, to be honest with you.
I think we could be fine with Gyökeres and Havertz, but what I would worry is who would be the left winger, because when Gyökeres played, he would benefit from Martinelli, right? And when Havertz played, he would benefit from Trossard because they could play the 1-2 together.
But that's what I mean. Say we
And
brought in a proper left winger and Havertz and Gyökeres are your strikers. That's not you wouldn't be
oh
okay
yeah,
with
oh
that?
in that case, oh
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. If you brought in like a Barcola or a Vinny or like a pro, like yeah, we'd be fine. We'd be completely fine. We'd be completely fine. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Just
We got a lot. Like I get the concern and I get the anxiety because we want to like repeat and we want to have a less stressful season, and like some of the pundits on Talksport that I listen to, they're already talking about Arsenal like losing like three or four, like losing three out of the first five and drawing one or two. And I'm like, what in what world do you genuinely think that Arsenal is going to lose that many in the first five? Yes, we have a rough start to the season. Yes, we're likely going to miss Declan Rice, Saliba, right? Like, there's no way. There's no way. And as great as the signings that Chelsea have had, yes, they got them in quickly. Those collective of players have not been together as long as the Arsenal players have been together. Right? That was the same issue that the entire Premier League ran into with Man City, right? They didn't even need a preseason. They knew where their players were. They knew that okay, if I pass the ball here, I know that Grealish is going to be there. I know that Savinho is going to be there. I know that Mahrez is going to be there. I can just kick it there, and I know he's going to be there. I know that Rodri's behind me. I know where De Bruyne is going to hit the ball. So it's going to make for an interesting start to the season, man. I'm excited. I'm excited to get going. Um,
at what point do you start to get worried? If we're sitting here next week this time and there's still no signings through the door. And again, I'm no disrespect to Solis and whatever. Guys that are going to raise the level for
I'll
us.
tell you when I'll start getting worried. So next week, this time I would not be worried. I would be worried if we go in if we're heading into the week of August 10th with no other signings.
Whoa, that's like
Wow,
two,
that's
3 weeks from now.
late, bruv.
It's 2 weeks.
Holy.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks.
That's when you're going to start worrying?
Yeah.
Damn,
Dang.
bro. Isn't that like pretty much preseason?
The
That's
preseason has already started.
yeah, we're in preseason right now.
Yeah, so I mean, don't you think that's pretty late to start
I mean,
bringing in?
like it's pretty late right now, you know?
That's what I mean. So if it's late now and you're not worried, and then August 10th is like a week
Because I think we have a plan. Like that's why. Like I genuinely think that we have a plan.
Hmm.
Like I think there is a plan. I don't think there is I don't think there was an overreaction with the Rogers thing. And I think there's more overreaction from fans than there is from Mikel and Andrea Berta, because I think there is a plan and I think they have um something that they want to do. So um
I hope so, man. I hope so. I agree with you. I can stomach the Rogers one, like whatever. I think now it's becoming a pattern because what's happening now with Bruno is where I'm getting concerned.
yeah, Bruno needs to be done. Bruno has to be done. And it needs to be done like sooner than later because we know that Declan Rice is not well and he needs time off. I think if we get Bruno in the next 2 weeks and we're still hunting for a left winger, like from some of the tapes that I've been watching on Solas, I think we'll be fine to head into like late August with him. But I would still like us to push for a proper left winger. I think there's a few more chips that need to fall before we can make that firm move. Like where Diamande goes, I think will be a ripple effect on what we can do. He goes to PSG, I think we can get Barcola a little bit cheaper than 120. He goes to Madrid, then I think Vinny becomes realistic, right? Um, and then the Alvarez piece, there's talks about
Yes, swap
like a
deal.
trade, like a swap deal and money with Gyökeres, right? Like, what if and Berta knows the entire contract for Alvarez. We're forgetting this because he's the one who brought Alvarez in. So if there's any loopholes in that contract, he would be the best person to know, right? So what if they're trying to they gave Josh the ropes to figure out the Guimaraes. Berta is trying to figure out that if they can do a swap deal, and in the back corner they're waiting for the chip to fall with Diamande and where he's gonna go, right? So like I think there's a wild overreaction from our side as fans because we're seeing Chelsea do business, we're seeing Spurs do business, we're seeing all these incomings, but like we've said, like they need these players. They need to get their fan bases excited. Chelsea is not in Champions League for God's sake. Like that for a club that's supposed to be the biggest club in London, they're not playing Champions League next year. That's terrible. Spurs just had 2 years of relegation battle, right? Like so far, I think the best signing, and you're gonna laugh at me saying this, but the best signing so far has been Yuri Tielemans to United. Under the radar, right? Great signing. That's the type of business that I want to do. Like I don't want people like being like, "Oh, Arsenal's in for this, so we're gonna jack the price up and get 150," because we know what they know we have the money, right? So I think in the next 2 weeks we'll really find out what's happening. Um, and that's when I'd be worried for heading into the week of August 10th.
Yeah.
I know it's not what you want to hear, but I'm giving you my honest answer.
Yeah. No, I hear it, man. I hope things are moving along well before then because August 10th is about a week or two before the season starts, and we play the Community Shield, mind you, a week before that.
Yeah,
So if things are going into August and then nothing is done, I'm definitely pressing the red button, the red alarm button. But look, man, let's hope for the best. Let's hope for the best. Where overall, again, I am excited that the season is coming back around. To those fans out there who watch football every 4 years when the World Cup is on. It was nice knowing you. We'll see you guys in 4 years. For the diehard fans, the club football fans, the ones that stick around, over there thick and thin with your club through it all, through the mud, aches and pains. You'll be there right there with us. The three of us will be here doing it all over again in a month's time. Especially Laurent as we continue our quest to try and get him to join the red side of London. But stay tuned, folks. We'll see if that
get a
even happens.
jersey for God's sakes first. Like
He's worn he's worn an Arsenal kit before,
I
lest we
know.
forget. So I'm trying over here, man. I'm trying. But yeah. Anyone, Laurent, any closing thoughts on your side? Is Chelsea gonna just quickly, is Chelsea gonna do any more business? I still feel you guys have a lot of work to do, to be honest. Like we're talking about, forget starting 11 for a minute. Your squad, I still think has work. You can have João Pedro as your striker next season, but Delap is still backing him up. Pause. You know what I mean? So
I
I still
mean,
think
we still have Jackson, um, but there is talks of him also.
Ooh.
Nicholas Jackson.
he's actually better than
Oh,
Delap in
there
my
we
opinion.
go. Now I know who he is.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
he's better. I think he's better than Delap personally.
yeah. But yeah, no. But in terms of what business Chelsea could be doing, yeah. I think there's going to be a few more outgoings. That's for sure. In terms of incomings. I mean, at this point, like I said, I think in terms of the defense, we're looking pretty good there. Now it's up to Javi if he wants to keep our keeper going into next season, Sanchez. But midfield, right, looks good. Um, I probably I don't know if I can rely on Neto. If we can rely on Neto for next season, if we're being completely honest. Um, so yeah, maybe another winger of sorts. But other than that, I think we're pretty good so far. Like, pretty good. So I'm happy, man. I'm just as happy as a toast on your head, Murdad. Yeah. So yeah, and I think our first game. When is that? We face you guys. You guys are our third or fourth game?
Third game,
Third
Third
game,
game.
right? Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
That should prove to be interesting. So yeah, man, I'm excited.
Bernard, anything to leave us off with?
One thing I'll say is look out for that FPL league that we're going to create. We'll include it in the doc description, probably in the next few weeks, so that you guys can join. We'll probably do the same prize. Finish first, you get a jersey of your choice. We'll order it for you, and we can meet up and deliver it for you. And you also get bragging rights. Get bragging rights, and maybe we'll do a little quick pod with you. So look out for that. And for all you Gooners, that if you're sitting on the same side as CJ, that you're concerned, transfer window, just remember we're not talking about Edu here. We're talking about Andrea Berta. The same Andrea Berta that in the prime years of Ronaldo and Messi, he actually helped Atletico Madrid win the league. So he does have a good track record, and he has brought in many good players to Atletico Madrid in a league where it's been dominated by Real Madrid and Barcelona. So in Berta, I trust at least. Give him some time. There's obviously things in play, and don't believe everything you say. You hear, right? Got all these various outlets saying, "Oh, we're connected. We're linked to this. We're linked to that." Until Fabrizio Romano posts it, do not believe it. Or David Ornstein. I would say David Ornstein's pretty good too. But until you get that, here we go. Just keep scrolling. Just keep scrolling.
Well, there you have it, folks. You heard it there from the optimistic one in the group. So, yeah, man. Listen, we'll be here. We'll be back to cover it all again in a few days' time when we're still, monitoring the Bruno situation and still planning a bid without actually putting in the bid. And you know, Chelsea is probably spending another 100 mil on a third string goalkeeper. And all that good stuff, man. We'll be here to talk about it all and cover it all on your home of the Premier League champs. So make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you're locked in. Tell a friend to tell a friend, and we will be back.
And bring your toast. Bring your motherfucking toast.
Period. And with that, people, adios.